Hello guys, welcome back. This is Rico and welcome to HSE. So today, this is a part 2 from the previous video uploaded, and I'm just trying to follow it up and respond to everyone that has been sending me messages and asking me and to upload the next video. I really appreciate everyone that's been sending messages, commenting and encouraging me, and also trying push me to post as much as I upload as much videos as I can, and also come up with the WhatsApp group that everyone can join, or a Telegram and things like that. I already have that, and it's been running here in my country, and we've been sharing baits and whatnot, and forex as well, and volatility as well. So today what I'm going to do is I don't really want to make this a long video because I don't want to be keeping you, I don't want to keep it too long anyway. So today I'll talk about the mistakes people make in baiting that you can try to avoid. I don't know if this can be called the part 2 from the previous video, or I'm just going to separate it from the other one, because today I feel like I should just talk about the mistakes that I've noticed many people make, and when it comes to betting, especially the people that are just starting with the betting and whatnot. And it doesn't matter what platform you're using, if it's Bet365, 1xBet, BetNiger, Betway, BetPower, and etc. So it doesn't matter. So so one of the few mistakes that I feel the newbies make, I've noticed, not few, I've noticed, is that they bet like sports fans. If you're a Manchester supporter, an Arsenal supporter, a Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and all these teams, you don't have to put them on your ticket like a fan. You want to bet like, I'd say, like a business person. I don't know if I can refer to it like that, but you want to bet like business-minded person. You're not in business because obviously in business there's a passion for what you're doing and whatnot, and you love genuinely what you're doing and so forth. But when it comes to also betting, you really have to separate the business side of it and the pleasure side of the sport. Understand? Obviously you get the pleasure of supporting your team and things like that. When they win, you get excited, you talk with your friends about how your team did over the weekend and things like that. But you need to learn to really separate the two, supporting the team and betting on that team. And if you can't do that, the best thing you can do is avoid betting on your team or teams that you favor. Obviously we favor most of the teams, we support certain teams, and then there are teams we favor a bit, we don't really support them. Like for me, I'm a Manchester United fan, and I favor Tottenham somehow, and I have a weak spot for Tottenham Hotspur. So I've supported them before they even went to Champions League. The Tottenham now we know, I've just liked them, and but I'm a huge United fan. So, but I've learned to separate the two, so betting like a fan and eliminating that. So most of the time when Manchester United and Tottenham are playing, sometimes I try by all means to just stay away from that game because I'm emotionally involved, and I don't really just want to bet because I want Manchester to win, or sometimes if I want to bet on it, I'll bet based on the analysis that I've done. I've worked around and I've analyzed that game because it's going to be like ABCD, and obviously in 2019 Manchester United have been doing good with the top 6 teams, the big 6 teams. They've won most of the games against the top 6, and they've been losing games against the smaller teams. So the reason being because obviously the thing that I've tried to discuss with the guys and everyone else is the fact that Manchester team right now, it looks like the Wolverhampton of last year. or even of last year, I would say, because this year Wolverhampton, they're able now to beat smaller teams as well, because last year they were having challenges beating smaller teams also, because they're a counter-attacking team. So if they're playing another team that doesn't press, they fail to really dictate the game, the play, and things like that. When they're the ones in control of the game, it's like they don't know what to do with it. Like they don't know how to do with the ball position. They don't know how to break teams up and things like that. So they find it easier when the team is attacking them, and they can just come out, and counterattack and win games like that. So that's the Wolverhampton of last year, and that's what Manchester is for this year. And that's why you find that Manchester is struggling to overcome smaller oppositions, because those teams generally sit back and they allow bigger teams to really attack them. So you find that Manchester now, they are really failing to break down such teams. They don't have those creative players that can break through the defense. So that's another thing that you genuinely have to accept as a sports bettor, and look at it like that and say, okay, this is what's really happening here, and I'm not going to bet like this, I'm not going to bet like that. There's the previous game that I was watching, and we had a discussion, and the reason why I'm making this video today was the fact that in our group there's one person that we discussed about the Barcelona game before. The light is very bright. Can I just switch it up? Okay, that's much better. So the game that made me actually make this video this week was the fact that Barcelona was playing against Real Sociedad. So this guy said, no, Barcelona, we can't lose against this team. Then I said, no, you are actually betting like a sports fan. You are betting like a Barcelona fan. But the fact is, this is a team that can upset Barcelona. There are teams that can upset Barcelona. And the Barcelona of nowadays, of today, is not the Barcelona of the Pep Guardiola Barcelona, that used to, wow everyone and just easy past any opposition. These days they're having it difficult, because even in La Liga, teams have now started stepping up. The teams like Eibar, Getafe, all these teams are now really can hold the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. So when you're betting on such teams, you really have to analyze the game itself and say, okay, fine, if Real Sociedad, they're doing fine at the moment, and have they played any other top teams? Yes, and this is how they fared with those top teams, and they are very good against top teams. They can upset top teams. These are possibilities. And when you're betting, don't go like, no, because this is Barcelona, ABCD. No. That's a very wrong way to approach this thing. When you look at those possibilities, betting is a game of possibilities. You have to check all your possibilities and put your cards together, and then you bet. It doesn't matter even if you're wrong. That's what you felt that those were the possibilities that you're looking at, and you not always get them right, and most of the time you get them right. But what we're doing here is to improve those chances you have in getting those predictions right. You understand? So when you're looking at such teams that are playing, obviously the Real Sociedad, Sevilla, Atletico Bilbao, and in La Liga, when they play these top teams or when they face each other. Another thing is when Real Sociedad face Sevilla, that's a very tricky balanced game, because either the game can go either way, and the game can also end in 0-0. So another thing you have to look at is who's doing far much better at that time, who's playing at home, how are they faring when they're at home, when they're away, and things like that. You look at that, how are the scores, what's the previous the previous results when those two teams met, and things like that. You look at those possibilities, and if you can't pinpoint what you can go for in that game, stay away from it. But if you can find one slight thing you can pick, then you can go for that. If you're going for goals, you're going for the home, for double chance, the home team winning or draw, or the home team or the away team winning and things like that, you do that. And what else? In England, that there are tricky teams like the likes of Leicester City that are doing very fine in 2019. Leicester City, Wolverhampton is a good team. You know, they went about 10 games without defeat until they were defeated by Tottenham. And such tricky teams. There's another team that I like in Bundesliga at the moment is I don't know if I will pronounce it correctly, but it's called Freiburg, I don't know. But if you bet a lot and you follow Bundesliga, you know a team called Freiburg. They're not up there, but they should be somewhere around 8th, 9th position right there. But they are very good against big teams, against the likes of Leipzig, Dortmund, Bayern Munich, and things like that. That team can hold top teams. They are very difficult to beat when it comes to against bigger oppositions. They just come out to play. You know, they do very well than they do against smaller oppositions. They try to slip up against smaller oppositions, but I feel that team is also like the likes of Manchester United and Wolverhampton. They are made for bigger games, and they do far much better when teams are attacking them, so they can just sit back, defend, and come out and attack. So when you watch a lot of games, you know, when you're betting, you need to also take time and watch these games so that you can do the analysis for yourselves. You don't want to be betting based on the names. You know, you can have 1 or 2 chances where you win your bets because you pick the Barcelonas and Ajax and things like that. But you also need to be watching and following. If you can't always watch the games, at least download the app that will allow you to follow those games as well. And there are a few apps that we use that allows you to follow games and follow the charts out there, how teams are faring in that team. In each season, there's always one team that will just surprise everyone, that will just be doing fine. In Eredivisie in Netherlands, there's this team that played against Manchester United, AZ. They're doing far much better this season. They're a very strong team. They are not allowing as many goals as possible. They recently defeated Ajax, so if you went for Ajax against AZ, obviously consciously you're thinking, no, Ajax is Ajax, you know, they dominate the Eredivisie. But the fact that you're not watching and you don't know which team is like a surprise package in that season, you miss out on that. You know, those are the teams that usually have higher odds because not everyone is aware that this team is doing far much better this season, so they'll stay away and they'll just go for bigger guns, you know. So you tend to miss out on such teams, you know. So if you pick Freiburg, you put them, if they're facing a bigger Freiburg in Bundesliga, and put them on a double chance or things like that, and you get the AZs when they're playing other teams, and you see the way they are faring with the smaller teams and all that stuff. You need to really take that chance and be able to improve your odds. And another major and huge mistake that I've noticed from newbies is the fact that they want to win millions from the word go, you know. Yes, that's what everyone is looking for and that's what everyone is here for, but you need to really tone it down and just accept the reality of it, that betting is very tricky. You're not going to guess 100, you're not going to make a team with 100 teams and expect to get that prediction correctly week in, week out. You know, there's a million chances that can happen. You know, I don't know if I say that correctly, but it's very difficult to have 25, 30 teams and you expect you'll get that correctly week in, week out. You may have a chance here and there, but if you want to win on a weekly basis, you really need to tone everything down. You know, just accept the reality and say, I'll only bet this many games. Say, I'll bet 5 games, I'll bet 6 games, I'll bet 2 games, and your only concern will be how much you stake up and how much how much you stake up basically. So that's what you're going to be looking at. So you tone everything down, accept gradually, you know, this growing money in whatever business, it's a gradual thing. It's a process, you know. You're not just going to make money poof, you know, like all of a sudden. If you're going to be betting for a long period of time, you need to understand that it's going to be something that's going to be a process that you have to grow and bit by bit, you know, and, you know, compounding the wins, and eventually it's going to be something very, very nice, and you can support yourself. So I don't know if I've stressed everything out, but basically that's one of the few things that I've noticed from the newbies, that usually they really want to win a lot of money, so they'll bet on these teams, and they will expect everything to just go correctly, you know what I mean? Yeah, you may have a chance here and there, but if you are going to do it for the long run, you really have to accept the reality of betting, that it's very, very difficult, and sometimes you have to work with smaller odds and the like, and just work with so that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to work with smaller odds and putting higher stakes, you know, 5 odds, 10 odds, 20 odds, and things like that. Then you, from time to time, you may try to risk it here and there and things like that. Then don't bet because of the names that you know. No, I know Borussia Dortmund will win, I know that we know. Don't bet like that, you know. Every time you depress your bet, it's because you've analyzed and you know that's the possibility you're looking at in that particular game, you know. Take the game as it is, and don't bet because you've heard of that one said last week they won, the other week that team won, the other week that won, and things like that. You really just have to analyze the game, that particular game. Even if it's Man City playing Wolverhampton this weekend, you know that Wolverhampton is a team that can possibly upset you. Man City, they've already done that this season, and now they're playing at home. They'll be even more of a threat. So you really have to look at those possibilities and say, okay, fine, this is how I'm going to approach this game, and things like that. So I'll try to make another video. Let me end here. I'll try to make another video stressing this topic even further, discussing this topic with you guys even further, and I'll also talk about how to make more advanced tickets on Betway. There are times when you find that Barcelona is playing another team, then you know you really want to get the Barcelona team, but the odds is like 1.01, and you'll be like, yo, but what am I going to do? You end up picking the wrong team, and it kills your ticket, and Barcelona ends up winning. I'll show you how to pick a team with smaller odds and really grow them, you know, like improve them, you know. At least if Barcelona was 1.01, at least grow them to 1.40, 1.20, things like handicapping them and scoring on both sides, both halves having these many goals, ABCD and stuff like that, so that you can have better odds with these teams that are usually having smaller odds. And I'll show you how to do that in the next video that I'll make. And bear with me, I take a long time to upload the next video because I'm trying to get a new camera, because I'm using something that is not really cool. So I've ordered a new camera for you guys so that I can be uploading very nice videos, and I can be uploading more frequently and stuff like that. I've got a lot to share, what I do and how I go about my betting, and how I started and how it's going for me. So I'll be able to show you some more, and also talk about forex and volatility, because I trade volatility and forex right now, so it's been taking a lot of my time. And yeah, so for everyone that wants my WhatsApp and my Telegram, I'll share in my next video. I'll allow everyone else to be able to contact me, and we can communicate and exchange bets and things like that, and I'll show you what we'll be doing. So thank you very much, everyone, and please continue supporting me and continue sharing with everyone else, your friends, and good luck betting this week, and cheers.